This episode is brought to you by Fox One. Watch all 104 matches of the FIFA World Cup live in 4K for just $19.99 a month with 3 days free. Build your own multi-view, choose up to 3 streams, and follow player spotlights. Stay on top of every moment with live stats, highlights, and instant replays. The FIFA World Cup, streaming live on Fox One. Offers are subject to change. See fox.com for complete terms and conditions.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Yesterday, my wife and I saw Disclosure Day. And I can't believe it. We saw 2 movies. I have not been to just didn't go to movies. There's some great ones coming up. One about, by the way, the Zuckerberg case where he was being trained in how to testify. That looks exceedingly good, at least from the trailer. You can also tell sometimes when the movies are just crummy. Anyway, Disclosure. No spoiler alerts, no anything. I think it's just garbage. You can see it if you want. You may love it. It's like Spielberg, what happened to you? Who wrote this? What is the point of this? What were you trying to say? And I was listening to a lot of his various interviews he does, and he doesn't know either. He frankly doesn't know. Well, it's about humanity. And I love the story because before you begin, you have to remember something. Pick this subject very carefully. Most people that you will meet do not understand how to handle it. Let me tell you why. First, whatever the subject is, Vietnam, the Vatican, God, history. Don't forget what I said about Tolstoy. History would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. People will come with their own sense of what they believe the truth is. It's not Dunning-Kruger. It's different. Next is the word believe. Do you believe that we're alone? Do you believe that there are extraterrestrials? Do you believe that there are UAPs? And I hate the way they change them. UAP, I'm sorry. I never got into UAPs. Excuse me. And one of the things which is most important out of everything is this idea of we don't enjoy the notion of wonder. We don't enjoy any time saying, wow, think about this. Recently, there was a baby that was born, and they said, isn't it great? I said, no. Do you understand how mind-boggling this is for this child to come from what? From what? To viscous organic deposits that if I put it on your sleeve, you would immediately try to wash it off. You say, what is this? And from these 2 seemingly organic, whatever you want to call it, you get a human? Nobody cares anything about that. But when we die, we go so deep. Where do we go? What happens next? Do you meet God? Is there a heaven? I said, wait a minute. Let's talk about this beforehand. First of all, where was this child before? And they say, well, what do you mean? Well, where did the child come before? Did the child come from nothing? And the answer they might say is yes, from nothing. The child came from nothing. There was nothing. There was no child. There was none. Never existed. We were there, yes. So when people always say, they'll ask, how? What do you mean we came from nothing? The Big Bang. What happened before the Big Bang? They asked Stephen Hawking, what happened before the Big Bang? He says, what's south of the South Pole? You see where I'm getting at? We don't wonder enough. When I was in school, I don't know what year, what grade, I don't remember, but I remember the event. It was a cube, a black cube cube. And in this cube, somebody threw something in there. A paperclip, a marble, a rock. I don't know what it was. And we just had to figure out what was it. And we waited. And we couldn't open it up. And we moved it and we shook it and we tried to take other samples of the cubes and we turned it from side to side and said, there's something spherical in here. There's something not circular, spherical, 3-dimensional. Something is sliding, something is rolling, there's something. And we would try to figure out what it was. And it was this thing where we tried to figure out, to wonder, critical thinking, to wonder, what does this mean? To wonder, to look up, to sit back in the grass, maybe at a concert and look up and see stars if there's no light pollution, and just wonder. Don't answer the questions. There's no interest in answering the questions. What do you want to answer questions for? Ask questions. So, the movie. And this is my thing, and this has been a subject of mine, a pet peeve for the longest time. I always ask the question when somebody asks, do you believe? You always have to say, well, I've never seen one. I'm not sure if I've seen one. I don't know. But I've never seen an electron before, but I take their word for it, blah, blah, blah. But I believe that people have seen something. I believe that there are many, many people who saw something. I believe that there are people who saw something that indeed were from another planet or stellar system. I think some people are a little crazy. Have you ever met somebody who was an astronomer crazy? Who everything is, well, it's Mercury rising. And they really don't know that much about it, but they love acting like they do believe. They really do. They love acting like they believe. Spielberg, again, no spoiler alerts here, has this idea of making the extraterrestrials too mysterious. And here is the question. If you met something that was indeed from another system, would they be really that mysterious? It's funny how you would say, well, look, they certainly look humanesque or humanoid, as do we. There's that bilateralism, 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. We all have the same chemicals. We are stardust. We are golden. I think Joni Mitchell said it best. We're from the same. We have eyes. We probably have we have a different sensory apparatus. Some of these things, I like when they say, it's always the one version of the extraterrestrial. Big eyes, almond head, that eye, kind of the E.T. look. It's the only one we know. Yet, people who have spoken about it says there are, I don't want to say hundreds, but various versions. Some looking Nordic, some looking whatever. Maybe some are shape-shifting. I don't know, but it's funny. Even when we talk about this, we have a dynamic. We have a certain, what's the word? We have a certain predisposition to believing that they look in a particular way, or that they're magical, or they can, and again, I don't want to ruin this, but all of a sudden say, hey, I'm speaking Russian. I don't know why. I thought one of the most interesting stories was that normally with advancement comes improvement upon systems. There has to be sensory. There has to be something. And it was also, not to interrupt this, but it makes sense to me that a lot of what we see are not necessarily the actual, and we'll use the word critter themselves, but maybe a robot, an orb, some type of a drone, something that is sent out to collect information or what have you. Many of these weird flying orbs or craft could very well not contain anything that we would call an extraterrestrial. Might be just, again, like a drone, like a drone is to us. I used to speak with Stanton Friedman. He was really the most lucid of them all. I loved him. He was the granddaddy of modern ufology. He was very careful he didn't just imagine things. There's this fellow, Stephen Greer. Stephen Greer, his mind, I think he's a bit of a fabulist. He imagines that they're good, and they come to warn us, don't destroy yourself. They came after World War II. What does that mean? Well, obviously they came after we detonated bombs, and they were warning us. It's like, really? How do you know that? I don't know. It's like a Rorschach test. Why do you think they're going to be so benevolent? Why do you think they would look at you as being anything other than an ant or a cattle? Or maybe, I don't know. It tells me more about you. But what I always find interesting is that you would not believe the ordinariness of it. And I do not believe necessarily that they would find us, that fascinating,